maybe it'll work now. So you would go to the right or left A. The y value right here would just stay the same. And the equation of your transverse axis, the transverse axis is the one that goes through the hyperbolas and actually crosses them. It's going to be a horizontal line. It passes through the center. Horizontal lines are y equals. So it's going to be y equals whatever that k is for this. Okay. There are other things we could find, because you can notice, like, I didn't do anything with this B right here. That B is going to affect the steepness of your slant asymptotes and different things. So it does, that B does affect the graph. We are just not going into a lot of detail on looking at the graph. We're going to do really rough sketches of these. So we're not going to do any more than this right here. There is more to be done. We're just not doing it. Now, hyperbolas can also open up and down. If the x is positive, it's going to open left and right. If the y is positive, it's going to open up and down. That will look like this: y minus k squared over b squared minus x minus h squared over a squared equals 1. So notice in this case, your y is positive, it's first, and then your x is second, it's negative because of that minus sign. So if x is positive, it's left and right. If y is positive, it's up and down. The center of this is still HK, but be careful because a lot of students get it backwards on this because the x is over here, it's the second one now. So that mixes students up sometimes. Your vertices, right here is your center. You're going to go up or down to get to the vertices, and it's going to be the number underneath your y, because that moves things up and down. So that's going to be up B and down B. So you're going to have the h will stay the same. It'll be k plus or minus b. And then your transverse axis is vertical in this case. And so vertical lines have the equation x equals a number, so it's going to be x equals h. Okay, questions? Okay, so let's look at what you're going to be asked to do for these. Okay. Write in standard form and sketch a graph. We're going to do a very rough graph on these. So the first thing I want to think about is whether or not this is going to open up and down or left and right. So if x is positive, it's going to be left and right. And in this case, your x squared is positive. The way you do these problems is almost identical to the ellipses that we did yesterday. The only difference is you're going to have a negative. So you're going to group your x's. So I've got my 9x squared and my negative 54x squared. I can factor out a 9. So I'll have x squared minus 8x, no, 6x plus blank, okay? Then if I'm looking at the y's, I have a negative 4 and a negative 40. I want to factor out the negative 4, not just the 4. I'm going to factor out the negative 4. So it's going to be a negative 4 is going to come out, and that will leave me with y squared plus 10y plus blank. So that sign changes there. And then that's going to equal 55 plus blank plus blank. Okay, here. All right, we're going to complete the square. We've got 9. Right here we'll get x minus 3 squared. And then 3 squared is 9, so that goes in the blank. What number should I add to the other side? 81, because I have to do this 9 times the 9 out front, which gives me 81. And then I do the same thing for the y's, so I get y plus 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, so that goes in my blank on the left side. What number should I add on the right side? Very good. Negative 100. Right, because you got to multiply that 25 by the negative 4, which gives you a negative 100. So you'll put negative 100 there. So 55 plus 81 minus 100 is 36, I think. And then just like ellipses, last step is to divide by 36. So that is going to give you x minus 3 squared over 4 minus y plus 5 squared over 9 equals 1. Okay, whenever it comes to a graph, I just want a really basic kind of graph. So your center would be at 3, negative 5. So 3, negative 5 is right here. And then this is going to be one that opens to the left and to the right. So underneath your x here, you have a 4. If you take the square root of that, you get 2. So you want to move to the right 2 and to the left 2. These are your two vertices. And I do not want anything more than you showing me what direction that it's going to open. You don't have to graph points or get that exact right there. It's just going to open left and right. So you don't have to worry about graphing it perfectly. I just want a really basic idea of what this looks like. Okay, here. All right. Let's do one more. And we'll be done. This one's a little tricky because it does not have any other y's, right? All we have is a y squared. So the y, we're not going to complete the square for the y. We are just going to factor out our negative 5, which will give us x squared plus 4x plus blank. And that's going to equal 50 plus blank. So we're not completing the square for the y because it did not have a y term. It's just got a y squared. So we just leave this alone. We got minus 5 times, we're going to do x plus 2 squared. And then 2 squared is 4, so we put a 4 here. What number should we put on the other side? Minus 20. So this is going to be equal to 30. And then we will divide everything by 30. So this will be equal to 1. So y squared over 30 minus 5 over 30 reduces to give us x plus 2 squared over 6 equals 1. So, Troy, what is the center of this one? Nope, but I'm glad you said that. It's negative 2, 0. So, it's really easy to get it backwards because your y is first on this one, right? So, negative 2, 0. I was hoping to trick someone on that because most people get that wrong, especially at first. So, that y has a 0, so that's your y coordinate. So, it's negative 2, 0 is your center right here. And then, is this one going to open up and down or left and right? Up and down because the y is positive. So that means I need to go up and down. How far do I need to go up and down? Square root of 30, which is not a perfect square. So square root of 30 is going to give us 5.47. So 5.5 more or less. We're just getting a rough graph here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little pass right there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 right here. And so it will open up and down. Mine probably look a little more like parabolas there, but they're hyperbolas. Again, I just need like a really rough graph to show that you have a little bit of a picture of what this will look like. Okay, questions? You can use the handheld calculator. There will not be any Desmos. Yeah. All right.